Have you ever opened your laptop, fully determined to get something important done, only to find yourself scrolling through social media 10 minutes later? What's strange is that you know exactly what you're doing. You know you're wasting time. You know you're making your future harder. And yet, somehow, you keep doing it. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people struggle with procrastination every day. But here's the surprising truth: procrastination is not laziness. In fact, most of the time, procrastination has very little to do with being lazy. To understand what's really happening, we need to look inside the human brain. Imagine that you have an important exam tomorrow. You know that studying would increase your chances of success. You know that every hour of preparation matters. Yet instead of studying, you decide to organize your desk, watch a few videos, check your messages, or maybe clean your room. At first glance, this behavior makes no sense. Why would someone avoid something that is clearly beneficial? The answer is simple. Your brain is not avoiding the task itself. Your brain is avoiding the emotions associated with the task. When you think about studying, your brain may generate feelings of stress, uncertainty, frustration, or even fear of failure. And naturally, your mind wants to escape those uncomfortable feelings. This is where many people misunderstand procrastination. They think they're avoiding work. But what they're actually avoiding is discomfort. The human brain evolved to help us survive. Thousands of years ago, avoiding discomfort often increased our chances of staying alive. Today, however, the same survival mechanisms can work against us. Instead of protecting us from predators, they often push us toward comfort and away from growth. Now let's compare two choices. On one side, you have an important project that requires focus, effort, and patience. On the other side, you have social media, short videos, video games, or entertainment. The project offers rewards in the future. Social media offers rewards right now. And that's exactly where the problem begins. Your brain loves immediate rewards. Every time you receive a notification, watch an entertaining video, or discover something new online, your brain releases small amounts of dopamine. Dopamine is often called the motivation chemical, but its role is more complicated than most people realize. It encourages you to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. The problem is that your brain doesn't always distinguish between what's useful and what's merely pleasurable. As a result, it often chooses immediate gratification over long-term success. Imagine a student who needs to prepare for an important exam. Every day, the student tells himself that he will start later. Each time he delays studying, something interesting happens. He experiences relief. For a brief moment, the stress disappears. And that relief feels good. What most people don't realize is that relief itself becomes a reward. The brain begins to learn a dangerous lesson. Avoiding the task makes me feel better. And because the brain loves rewards, it becomes more likely to repeat the same behavior in the future. This creates a cycle. You avoid the task. You feel relief. Your brain remembers the relief. The next time you face the task, avoidance becomes even more tempting. Over time, this cycle grows stronger. Now let's look at another example. Imagine someone who wants to start exercising. They buy new workout clothes. They watch motivational videos. They make a plan. Everything seems perfect. But when the first workout day arrives, they hesitate. They think about the effort. They think about the discomfort. They think about how tired they might feel. So they postpone it until tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Eventually, even thinking about exercise starts to feel unpleasant. Not because exercise is impossible, but because the brain has created an association between exercise and discomfort. The longer this pattern continues, the stronger it becomes. This is one reason why intelligent, capable, and ambitious people often procrastinate. The issue isn't a lack of ability. The issue is emotional avoidance. Many successful people experience the same resistance as everyone else. The difference is that they have learned how to act despite the discomfort. One of the biggest myths about productivity is the belief that motivation comes first. People often think that successful individuals wake up feeling inspired every day. In reality, motivation is unreliable. Some days you have it. Some days you don't. If you wait for motivation before taking action, you may wait forever. Successful people understand something important. Action often comes before motivation, not the other way around. Once you start moving, your brain begins to adapt. The task that seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. The resistance starts to fade. This leads us to one of the most powerful strategies for overcoming procrastination. Make the task smaller. Most people create huge mental barriers. They tell themselves things like, "I'm going to study for 4 hours. I'm going to completely change my life. I'm going to finish the entire project today." The brain hears these statements and immediately feels overwhelmed. Instead, reduce the task to something incredibly small. Don't tell yourself you're going to write an entire report. Tell yourself you're going to write 1 sentence. Don't tell yourself you're going to exercise for an hour. Tell yourself you're going to put on your running shoes. Don't tell yourself you're going to read an entire chapter. Tell yourself you're going to read 1 page. This may sound too simple, but it works because the hardest part is usually getting started. Once momentum begins, continuing becomes much easier. This idea is often called the 2-minute rule. If a task feels difficult, commit to doing it for only 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Anyone can work for 2 minutes. And surprisingly, once you begin, you'll often continue far beyond those initial 2 minutes. The resistance that seemed so powerful starts to disappear. The brain realizes that the task is not as painful as it imagined. And that's an important lesson. Your brain frequently exaggerates the discomfort of future tasks. It predicts stress that may never actually happen. It creates obstacles that often exist only in your imagination. The next time you catch yourself procrastinating, pause for a moment and ask yourself a simple question. What am I really avoiding? Is it the work itself? Or is it the uncomfortable feeling associated with the work? That question can change everything. Because once you identify the real problem, you can address it directly. Procrastination is not a sign that you're lazy. It's not proof that you're incapable. And it's not evidence that you're destined to fail. More often than not, it's simply your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. The challenge is learning when that protection is helping you and when it's holding you back. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not those who never feel resistance. They're the ones who learn to take action despite it. So the next time your brain tells you to wait until tomorrow, remember this. You don't need to finish the entire journey today. You only need to take the first step. And sometimes, that first step is all it takes to change everything. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns that influence our lives, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. New videos are released every week. Until next time, stay curious.